Chapter 1. The Struggle of Discipline. You are standing at the edge of something monumental, a choice that will define the course of your life. This isn't about a single decision, nor is it about a quick fix. It's about the journey ahead, a path that demands commitment, perseverance, and above all, discipline. Discipline is one of those words that often carries a weight of resistance with it. People associate it with struggle, with restriction, and with sacrifice. It's seen as the opposite of freedom, an idea that somehow limits us. Yet, here you are, reading this or listening to this, because deep down, you know something critical about discipline that most others don't. You know that true discipline isn't about being rigid or forcing yourself to do things you don't want to. It's about something deeper, about the kind of growth that happens when you make the choice to prioritize your long-term well-being over short-term comfort. It's about self-control, yes, but more than that, it's about respect for your future self. What you choose today, this moment, impacts your tomorrow. You've probably heard it before. What you do in the present shapes your future. But let's stop and truly internalize that truth. Right now, you stand at a crossroads where every action you take will reverberate into your future. Each small decision will either move you closer to a version of yourself you're proud of, or farther away. It's not just about avoiding distractions, though that's a part of it. It's about the foundation beneath every action you take. Think of discipline like the root of a tree. It's the invisible force that holds everything else up. Without it, no matter how strong your leaves or branches are, the tree will fall when the storm comes. And storms do come. In life, storms are inevitable. Setbacks, obstacles, and temptations that will test your resolve. How you prepare for those storms determines how you navigate through them. And it all starts with discipline. But discipline is hard, isn't it? We are creatures of habit, yes, but not always the best kind of habits. Our brains are wired to seek comfort, to avoid pain, and to find shortcuts. And that's why discipline, in the beginning, feels like such a struggle. Think about a time when you tried to stick to a new routine or goal. Maybe you wanted to lose weight, start a new project, or read more books. The first few days were easy, full of excitement. But as time went on, the novelty wore off. Your motivation started to wane. Maybe you slipped up once, then twice, then the third time felt like an entire setback. And then it became so easy to give up, to walk away, because the discomfort of continuing seemed so much harder than the temporary relief of quitting. But in that moment, if you had held on just a little bit longer, you might have seen progress, even small progress, that would have built upon itself. The temptation to give up is always stronger in the beginning. It's when you haven't yet tasted the rewards of consistency that the pain of discipline feels overwhelming. The late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices, it's a lot to ask of yourself. But here's the thing that most people miss. The pain of discipline is temporary, and the rewards it brings last a lifetime. And the pain of regret, that's far worse. Regret lingers, festers, and grows over time. It doesn't go away. It accumulates in the small moments you chose comfort over growth. It grows stronger with each year you look back and wish you had done more. We've all felt it, the bitterness of regret. It's the feeling of looking back at something you wish you had worked harder for, or put more effort into, or stuck with longer. The regret of not taking action when you had the chance. This is the kind of pain you don't recover from easily, because regret eats away at you. It fills you with what-ifs and could-have-beens, and it shapes how you view yourself. If you allow yourself to live in a cycle of short-term gratification, you will be living in a future filled with those painful thoughts. You'll find yourself wondering why you didn't have the discipline to push through. Now, I want you to think about a scenario. Imagine you're at the end of your life, looking back at all the moments that led you here. The moments when you chose not to do the work, when you gave up too easily, when you took the easy path instead of the one that would have led to greatness. Can you feel that weight? That is the regret you'll carry for the rest of your days. And that is a far harder burden to bear than the discomfort of discipline. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to be this way. Right now, you can make a choice. You can step onto a path of discipline. You can choose discomfort now, so that the future version of you will thank you. The future you will look back and see that you made the tough decisions, that you chose consistency over excuses. You chose growth over stagnation. In that future, you will have no regrets because you didn't allow yourself to quit. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about commitment. It's about showing up, even when you don't feel like it. It's about making those small choices that align with your bigger vision. So here you are at the beginning. You've taken the first step just by deciding to listen. But now it's time to really commit, to dig deep, and understand that every choice you make has a consequence. The hardest part is getting started. But once you begin, the momentum will carry you forward. Just make sure you don't stop. Because if you stop, regret will catch up with you, and you don't want that. I want you to consider this next moment as a pivotal one. And the first time you decide to choose discipline over comfort, it will be hard. The first time you show up when you don't feel like it will feel awkward. But I promise you, it will also feel empowering. You'll feel a sense of control, of ownership, and most importantly, you'll feel the power of making decisions that honor your future self. And as you take that first step towards discipline, remember this: regret is much harder. It's much harder to live with the knowledge that you could have done more, that you could have been more. Regret is the pain you'll carry with you forever. But the discomfort of discipline, that is temporary. And the rewards that come with it, they'll last a lifetime. Think back to a time when you were full of potential. Maybe it was when you were younger, or maybe it was just last year, and when you had an idea or a goal that made your heart race with excitement. You knew exactly what you wanted, and you were determined to achieve it. But somewhere along the way, that excitement started to fade. The initial drive you felt was replaced by distractions, by doubts, and by the temptation to take it easy. Instead of putting in the work, you procrastinated. You allowed yourself to think, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll do it when I feel more motivated. We've all been there. The cycle of inaction is one of the hardest traps to escape, and it often happens in the moments when we feel the most uncertain. In the beginning, when you set that goal, everything seemed possible. But the effort it takes to follow through can feel overwhelming, especially when you have to face discomfort and uncertainty along the way. So, instead of pushing through, you put it off. You delay. And in that delay, something happens. You begin to erode your own confidence. What happens next is the worst part. The longer you avoid taking action, the more you begin to feel like you're not capable. The whispers of self-doubt creep in, and you start to wonder if it's too late to start. Or worse, you wonder if you were ever meant to succeed at all. This is the quiet tragedy of inaction. It steals your belief in yourself. It builds up over time and turns into a cloud of regret that follows you everywhere you go. And it doesn't just stay in the background. It affects your decisions, your relationships, and your sense of self-worth. Every day you delay, that cloud grows heavier. Imagine this. A few years from now, you're looking back at the opportunity you had today. Now, what would you see? Would you see the vision you once had? The dreams you were excited about? Or would you see a trail of missed chances, opportunities left unexplored, and a person who never took the necessary steps to live up to their potential? That's the price of inaction. You lose your future self. You lose the person you could have become. And you lose the life that could have been. Regret doesn't just appear overnight. It builds slowly, like a weight that you add to your shoulders with every decision to delay. At first, it's barely noticeable. You think, I can always start tomorrow, or I'll make up for it next week. But the longer you live in that cycle, the more it becomes your reality. And soon, you find yourself surrounded by dreams that are no longer vivid. They've become faint memories of who you could have been. This doesn't just apply to big life-changing decisions. It applies to the small, everyday choices as well. Each time you hit the snooze button, each time you choose comfort over challenge, each time you avoid the difficult task, you add a little more weight to that regret. These small choices might seem insignificant, but when added together over time, they create a massive impact. It's like building a house brick by brick. Each brick might feel small, but when enough of them are laid, they form a foundation that you'll have to carry with you for the rest of your life. Now, this isn't meant to make you feel guilty. This isn't about self-criticism. This is about realization. It's about recognizing that inaction isn't just harmless. It's a slow burn that, left unchecked, can lead to a lifetime of regret. Now, and the good news is that this doesn't have to be your story. It doesn't have to be how things end. But it's not enough to simply recognize this. Awareness is important, but it's action that changes everything. You might be sitting there thinking, it's too late for me. I've already wasted so much time. But that thought right there is another trap. Time, once spent, can't be reclaimed, but the next moment is still yours to take. Right now, in this moment, you have the ability to make a decision. You can choose to put in the work, to break free from the chains of inaction. You can choose to make today the day that you stop waiting for motivation and instead choose discipline. The reason discipline is so powerful is that it builds momentum. The hardest part is always the first step, but once you start, even if it's a small step, the momentum carries you. You'll look back and realize that all it took was one moment of action to set everything in motion. One decision, one choice to start. And in that moment, you'll have conquered the most difficult part of the journey. But if you allow yourself to fall into the trap of inaction, if you let that voice of doubt and comfort speak louder than your commitment, the regret will grow. It's like a small seed planted in your heart. And over time, that seed will sprout into a tree of regret, one that will shadow your life and prevent you from seeing the sunlight of your potential. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's not about never making mistakes or always doing the hard thing. It's about showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing what you know is right, even when your mind tells you to take the easy road. Discipline is the key to unlocking the future you want. It's the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Think about the future you want. How do you want to feel 5, 10, 20 years from now? Do you want to look back with pride, knowing you took the steps to create the life you've always dreamed of? Or do you want to look back and wish you had started earlier? The choice is yours, but it all starts today. This moment, right here, right now. Now, let's get into the heart of this. It's easy to talk about discipline in theory. It's easy to say, oh, I'll just be more disciplined. But the truth is, making that shift from passive awareness to active transformation is the hardest part. The resistance you feel isn't something unique to you. Everyone goes through it. In fact, resistance is a fundamental part of the human experience. It's that internal battle between what you know you should do and what feels comfortable. It's the part of you that wants to keep the status quo, to stay within the boundaries of what's familiar, even if what's familiar isn't serving you. You can think of this resistance as your inner critic, the voice that tells you you're not ready, that it's too hard, or that you don't have the skills or strength to follow through. That voice doesn't want you to change, because change means discomfort, and discomfort is something we all try to avoid. But let me tell you something important. That voice is not your enemy. It's simply a sign that you're pushing against your limits, and that's a good thing. You're on the verge of growth, and the discomfort you feel when you face resistance is proof that you're moving in the right direction. Think back to when you first learned how to ride a bike. It was awkward, right? You couldn't quite get the balance and you fell a few times. But the more you practiced, the easier it became. In fact, at some point you probably got so good at it that you didn't even think about it anymore. Riding a bike became second nature. That's what discipline does. It starts out hard, but as you practice, it becomes easier. The more you commit to it, the more automatic it becomes. And when you look back on it, you'll wonder why you ever resisted in the first place. The resistance to discipline is much like the process of breaking any bad habit. Think of it as being tied to a chair by your old self, your old habits. Every time you try to break free, now the chair feels heavier. The chains of procrastination and excuses feel tighter. But every step you take towards freedom, every small victory of discipline, slowly loosens those chains. What once felt impossible eventually becomes effortless. But you have to show up. You have to put in the effort, even when you're not seeing immediate results. That's the challenge, and that's the reward. It's not just about the big goals or the massive dreams. It's in the small daily actions, the decisions you make in the moment. That discipline is truly forged. It's in getting up at 5 a.m. to work out, even when the bed feels so much more inviting. It's in choosing to eat the healthy meal over the fast food, even when the temptation is strong. It's in continuing with your project, even when the excitement has faded. And these are the moments that build the muscle of discipline. These are the moments that accumulate into long-term success. Here's where the transformation happens. The more you practice discipline, the more you begin to reshape your identity. You don't just do disciplined things. You become a disciplined person. It becomes part of who you are. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but it happens steadily as you keep showing up. One day you'll wake up and realize that you've become the person you once only hoped to be. And it won't feel like a struggle anymore. It will feel like second nature, like breathing. But the transformation doesn't stop there. As you grow into a more disciplined person, you'll start to notice something incredible. You'll see how your mindset begins to shift. You'll start thinking differently about your goals, about your potential, and about what's truly possible. The limits you once thought were set in stone begin to crumble. You realize that the only thing that ever stood in your way was your own lack of discipline, your own hesitations, and your own fears. Imagine what you could accomplish if you showed up consistently every day. If you were to fully commit to your goals and refuse to give in to distractions and doubts, how much would you achieve in 1 month? In 1 year? The potential is limitless. The only thing that holds you back is the choices you make today. Every time you resist the temptation to quit, every time you choose to push through, you're laying the foundation for a future that is entirely in your control. This is the power of discipline. It isn't something you acquire, it's something you develop. It's a skill. And just like any skill, it takes practice. But once you start, once you take that first step, there's no going back. Discipline creates momentum, and momentum leads to transformation. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. At first, it's small, but the more you push, the bigger it gets. The more you commit, the more results you'll see. And soon, what once seemed impossible becomes part of your reality. The key is to start. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Right now. You have the power to create the future you want. But it all starts with one choice. The choice to show up, to be disciplined, and to push through the resistance. Chapter 2. The Power of Consistency. Consistency is the secret ingredient to success. It's the little things you do every day that compound over time into something massive. It's not the big, show grand gestures that lead to lasting change. It's the daily, sometimes even boring, acts that make all the difference. You've probably heard of the concept of the compound effect before. It's the idea that small, consistent actions, when repeated over time, have an exponential impact on your life. But let's take a moment to really unpack this. Imagine you're saving money. You start with just a small amount each week, maybe $10 or $20. At first, it doesn't seem like much. You might even question whether it's worth the effort. But here's where the magic happens. Over the course of months and years, that small amount grows. You invest it wisely, it compounds, and suddenly you have a much larger sum than you could have imagined. The same principle applies to your habits, your efforts, and your discipline. In the beginning, it may not feel like you're making significant progress. You might not see the results right away. But this is where most people give up. They expect instant gratification, and when they don't see the payoff quickly enough, they quit. But true change doesn't work that way. The most transformative shifts in life come from the consistent application of effort over time. Let's say you want to get in shape. You start by working out for just 20 minutes a day. At first, it feels easy, but soon the novelty wears off. You don't see massive changes right away. The scale doesn't budge. Your body doesn't look drastically different. And this is when you face a choice. Do you keep going, even when the results aren't immediate? Or do you quit believing that it's not working? The power of consistency is in pushing through during those moments. It's showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's doing the work when it feels like nothing is changing. It's in those moments that you're building the foundation for a future where everything will come together. The progress may be slow, but if you keep at it, you'll look back one day and see just how far you've come. This is the beauty of consistency. It doesn't demand perfection, only persistence. Each small action you take, each day you continue to show up, is adding to the momentum that will carry you to where you want to go. In fact, one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is to accept that the process will take time. Time is your ally when it comes to consistent effort. Think of a bamboo tree. When you plant a bamboo seed, nothing happens for years. It sits in the soil, seemingly dormant. But then, and in the fifth year, it grows more than 80 feet in just 6 weeks. How is that possible? The answer lies in the roots. During the first few years, the bamboo is growing an incredibly strong root system that will support its growth when the time comes. It's the same with your goals. The consistency of your actions is like those roots. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, your efforts are laying the foundation for future success. The reason consistency is so powerful is that it builds on itself. As you continue to show up day after day, you develop a habit. The habit becomes second nature. The effort doesn't feel as draining anymore, and the results start to come more easily. You've laid down the foundation, and now you're building upon it. That's why the small actions, the daily decisions are so important. They add up. But here's the real power of consistency. It creates momentum. When you do something consistently, it's like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, the snowball is small and slow, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow and gains speed. The momentum keeps it going, making it easier to keep moving forward. That's exactly what happens when you build consistency into your life. You start slow, you face resistance, and it feels tough. But as you keep going, the momentum builds. Each day you make progress. Each action compounds. And soon you look back and realize you've made far more progress than you thought. The challenge is to stick with it long enough to see the momentum build. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. Let's dive deeper into the inner changes that allow you to keep going, even when the journey feels long or the progress seems slow. What is it that keeps people on track when they're not seeing immediate results? What makes one person continue their disciplined approach while another gives up? It's not just about motivation or willpower. Though those play a role, it's about internal shifts that occur when you commit to long-term growth. The first of these shifts is the understanding that consistency isn't about immediate rewards. It's about the process. When you focus on the process rather than just the end result, the small victories begin to feel just as satisfying as the big ones. This is a critical mindset shift. It's easy to get caught up in chasing results, losing weight, making money, hitting milestones. But the true value comes in the daily actions. And when you begin to derive satisfaction from doing the work, the results become almost secondary. Let's take a moment to reflect on a simple analogy. Think about your favorite book or movie. It's not just the ending that keeps you engaged. It's the unfolding story, the ups and downs, the character development, and the moments in between that make the journey compelling. If the entire plot were just a series of conclusions, it wouldn't be nearly as satisfying. The same applies to your life. The process, the grind, the daily effort is where the growth happens. It's where the true transformation takes place. The outcome will come, but it's the commitment to consistency that shapes who you become in the process. Now, consider this. When you truly commit to consistency, you start to shift your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who occasionally succeeds at things or someone who struggles to follow through. You begin to see yourself as someone who gets things done. You become a person of integrity, a person who shows up day after day, no matter the circumstances. You begin to internalize the idea that you are someone who sticks with things, even when it gets tough. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it's one of the most powerful shifts you can make. Imagine how much more resilient you would be if you truly believed that you could rely on yourself to follow through. Imagine not having to second guess whether you'll keep your word or whether you'll reach your goals. The beauty of consistency is that it builds trust in yourself and trust in the process. But this is where it gets even more profound. And consistency creates self-discipline, and self-discipline creates freedom. It may sound contradictory at first, but it's true. When you become disciplined in your actions, you actually free yourself from the chaos of indecision, procrastination, and guilt. You free yourself from the weight of unfulfilled goals and the constant stress of feeling like you're falling behind. Each day you stick to your commitment, you gain more freedom because you no longer have to worry about the things you've left undone. Take a moment to think about the times when you felt overwhelmed by a lack of discipline. Maybe you've procrastinated on a project, delayed an important conversation, or avoided taking action on something critical. The weight of those unmade decisions is heavy, isn't it? It keeps you from being fully present because your mind is constantly running through the things you know you should be doing. But when you choose consistency, when you choose to show up for yourself, you free yourself from that burden. Every task you complete, every habit you form, creates a little more space in your mind. You no longer feel like you're dragging a heavy load behind you. Instead, you feel lighter and more capable. The final shift that occurs when you embrace consistency is the gradual transformation of your confidence. There is a direct connection between consistency and confidence. As you continue to show up day after day and meet your commitments, your confidence grows. This is not the kind of confidence that comes from external validation, but the deep, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you can rely on yourself. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't require applause or approval. It's a quiet inner knowing that you are capable and that you are moving forward. With each step you take, your belief in yourself grows stronger. This confidence doesn't just impact your goals, it impacts your entire life. It makes you more resilient in the face of challenges. It helps you bounce back from setbacks with a renewed sense of determination. It gives you the strength to keep going, even when the path ahead is unclear or difficult. But here's the kicker. The confidence you build through consistency doesn't just stay in one area of your life. It spreads. The habits and discipline you develop in one area, whether it's fitness, work, or personal development, spill over into other areas. You start to realize that you're capable of far more than you ever thought. Now, you start to trust in your ability to learn, to grow, and to succeed. And that confidence is magnetic. It draws opportunities, people, and experiences into your life that align with your growth. It becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. By now, you might be thinking, this sounds good, but how do I start? How do I push through the days when discipline feels like an uphill battle? The answer lies in making consistency the foundation of your daily routine. Don't try to change everything at once. Just start with one thing, one habit, one small action that you can commit to every single day. Build it up gradually, and soon, you'll find that consistency becomes a part of who you are. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, you'll realize that the journey is far more rewarding than you ever expected. So, Chapter 3, the role of patience. It's one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal, but also one of the hardest to cultivate. In our fast-paced world, where everything is expected to happen instantly, patience can feel like a foreign concept. We're conditioned to want things now, instant downloads, quick responses, fast food, and immediate gratification. But here's the truth. Real growth, real transformation takes time. And that time requires patience. The concept of patience is often misunderstood. It's not about sitting idly by, waiting for things to happen. It's about trusting the process, staying committed to your goals, and continuing to take action even when the results are not immediately visible. It's about understanding that everything has a natural pace, and rushing that process usually leads to mistakes. It's like burnout or worse, abandoning your goals altogether. Let's think about something simple for a moment. A tree. A tree doesn't rush to grow. It doesn't push its roots through the soil at breakneck speed. Instead, it grows steadily over years, reaching for the sky. It faces challenges, storms, droughts, and changes in seasons, but it doesn't stop growing. It doesn't look around and say, why am I not as tall as that tree over there? It simply continues to grow at its own pace, knowing that with time, it will become exactly what it's meant to be. This is how growth works in every area of your life. Whether it's health, career, relationships, or personal development, you are like that tree. You can't force the growth and you can't rush it. All you can do is nurture it and trust that, with time, it will come. In fact, when you learn to embrace the patience required for true growth, you'll find that the journey itself becomes rewarding. Think about a goal you've been working toward, perhaps something you've been trying to achieve for a long time. At the beginning, the excitement of the new goal can fuel your actions. You're full of energy, determined to make things happen. But after a while, as the days stretch into weeks and months, the progress starts to slow down. Results are harder to see, and motivation fades. This is where many people falter. They get discouraged, they give up. They start looking for shortcuts, for the quick fix that will give them the results they want right now. But this is the moment that separates those who achieve long-term success from those who don't. It's the ability to stay patient, not to keep putting in the work day after day, even when the results aren't obvious. It's about trusting that every action, no matter how small, is contributing to the bigger picture. It's knowing that success isn't just about the destination, it's about the person you become in the process. Patience teaches you resilience. It teaches you to stay focused on the long-term vision, even when it feels like nothing is happening. This is why the greatest achievers in any field, whether it's sports, business, or the arts talk, about the importance of patience. They understand that results take time and that you have to keep showing up day after day, no matter how long it takes. They understand that growth isn't linear. It's full of peaks and valleys, of progress and setbacks, and you can't rush it. You can only trust the process. Think back to the last time you experienced real growth. I don't mean the quick wins, the small successes, but the deep, meaningful change that transformed you. I bet it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't something you achieved in a few weeks or even a few months. It took time, time to learn, time to practice, time to make mistakes and learn from them. It took patience. Here's the beauty of patience. It forces you to focus on the present moment. It's so easy to get lost in the future, to constantly worry about when you'll achieve your goals or what the end result will be. But patience teaches you to stay grounded in the now, to focus on what you can do today, and trust that each small step will take you closer to where you want to be. It allows you to be fully present in the process rather than constantly waiting for the next milestone. All right, now let's think about the opposite of patience, impatience. Impatience breeds frustration, it breeds anxiety. It makes us feel like we're running out of time, like we're falling behind. When we're impatient, we become focused on the gap between where we are and where we want to be. And in that gap, we lose sight of the progress we've made. We forget to appreciate the small wins, the lessons learned along the way. Impatience makes us look at our journey as a burden instead of a gift. But when you practice patience, you begin to see that the journey is just as important as the destination. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step forward. And each step brings you closer to becoming the person you want to be. That's why patience isn't just a virtue, it's a superpower. It's the key to unlocking sustained, long-term success. Patience doesn't mean that you stop taking action. Far from it. It means that you continue to take consistent, purposeful action, but you do it with a mindset of trust. Trust that the work you're doing is leading to something bigger. Trust that the results will come, even if they don't appear immediately. Trust that the journey, with all its ups and downs, is exactly what you need to grow into the person you're meant to be. As you begin to truly embrace the power of patience, you'll notice something transformative happening within you. Patience isn't just about waiting for the outcome. It's about learning to manage your mind and emotions in the present. The more you practice patience, the more you begin to understand that everything in life is in a state of constant evolution. And no great achievement or transformation happens in an instant. Every major change, every breakthrough, is a result of months or even years of small, consistent actions that have compounded over time. This, my friend, is the true essence of patience, understanding that growth takes time and that there's beauty in the waiting. Consider the journey of a butterfly. Before it emerges as the graceful, colorful creature we admire, it spends weeks in a cocoon, undergoing a quiet and almost invisible transformation. From the outside, it may seem like nothing is happening, but inside that cocoon, incredible changes are taking place. The butterfly doesn't rush its process. It doesn't think, I need to emerge right now, because it knows that the timing is essential to its development. If it were to emerge prematurely, it would not be fully formed. Similarly, your own growth requires time. It requires the patience to understand that you, too, are undergoing a transformation, one small change at a time. This concept is so important in the world of personal development. We live in a society that glorifies quick fixes, be it fast weight loss, immediate career success, or instant wealth. It's easy to get caught up in the promises of shortcuts. But here's the truth. Nothing sustainable comes quickly. True success, whether in health, career, relationships, or personal development, requires time. The habits you build today, the choices you make right now, will shape the person you become in the future. And that future version of yourself is something worth waiting for. You may be familiar with the idea of delayed gratification. This concept is the cornerstone of personal growth. It's about choosing what's hard now for what's better later. This doesn't mean that you should deprive yourself of happiness or joy. It simply means that you are making conscious choices to prioritize your long-term well-being over temporary satisfaction. For example, choosing to save money rather than spend it on short-term luxuries might feel restrictive today, but in the long run, it provides you with financial freedom and peace of mind. The same applies to your health, your relationships, and your personal goals. But delayed gratification isn't just about the physical rewards. It's about the internal rewards that come with it. When you practice patience and discipline, you begin to develop a deeper sense of inner strength and confidence. You realize that you are capable of sticking with something, even when it gets tough. As you prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort, that you can ride out the tough times, and that you can trust the process. This builds a profound level of self-esteem, one that comes not from the approval of others, but from the knowledge that you have mastered your own mind. This transformation, however, isn't always linear. There will be times when you feel discouraged, when the progress seems slow, or when setbacks arise. But here's the key. The setbacks are part of the process. Patience isn't about being perfect. It's about staying committed despite the challenges. Life will never be without obstacles, and growth often happens in the moments when things are not going according to plan. Every failure, every setback, is a lesson in patience and persistence. It's in these moments that your character is truly built. When things get tough, remind yourself that these are the times when the real transformation happens. It's easy to stay patient when everything is going smoothly. But true patience is tested when life throws challenges at you. Whether it's a difficult project, a personal loss, or the frustration of not seeing immediate results. These moments are when your commitment to the process will be tested. And this is when your patience will yield the greatest rewards. Every time you keep going, even when it feels like you're not making progress, you are building a foundation for lasting success. Patience also teaches you to value the present moment. It shifts your focus from always looking for the next thing to appreciating where you are right now. When you're patient, you understand that everything happens in its own time. There's no need to rush because you know that you're right where you need to be. This sense of acceptance is incredibly liberating. It frees you from the constant pressure of having to be somewhere else or achieve something faster. Instead, you learn to enjoy the journey and trust that, with time, things will unfold as they should. In the end, patience isn't just about waiting. It's about trusting the process, being consistent, and learning to stay focused on your long-term vision. It's about knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, and that every step you take, no matter how small, is moving you closer to the person you want to become. The power of patience is in its ability to transform not just your circumstances, but your very way of being. It teaches you to believe in yourself, in the process, and in the beauty of taking things one day at a time. Chapter 4. Embracing the struggle. It's easy to want to avoid pain, difficulty, and struggle. After all, who wouldn't want a life where everything came easily, where challenges were minimal and obstacles were few? But here's a powerful truth. The very things we try to avoid, those moments of struggle, discomfort, and difficulty, are the moments that shape us the most. It is in the struggle that we find our true strength. It is through the hardships that we uncover what we are truly capable of. And while we may not always welcome hardship, we can learn to embrace it as a catalyst for growth. When we think about the most transformative experiences in our lives, they're rarely the ones where everything was smooth and easy. They are the moments when we were pushed to our limits, when we had to dig deep and summon a strength we didn't even know we had. It might have been a challenge in your career that forced you to level up. Perhaps it was a personal setback that led to self-reflection and a shift in your perspective. Maybe it was a difficult decision or an uncomfortable truth that pushed you to grow. Whatever it was, the struggle was the key that unlocked a new level of potential. The reason we grow in the face of struggle is simple. Discomfort forces us to adapt. Without struggle, there would be no need for change. But with every challenge we face, we're given the opportunity to evolve. And while evolution can be difficult, it is also incredibly rewarding. It's like the process of refining gold. Gold doesn't just appear in its perfect form, it has to be put through fire to burn off the impurities. And the fire is the struggle. And just like gold, we emerge from the fire stronger, purer, and more refined. When you face challenges in your life, whether they are big or small, understand that they are not obstacles meant to stop you. They are invitations to grow, to expand, and to become something greater than you were before. The truth is, there's no such thing as growth without struggle. Without those difficult moments, you would remain stagnant. You would never know the depth of your own strength, the resilience that lies within you, or the potential that you can reach. Consider some of the most successful people in the world, whether they are entrepreneurs, athletes, or artists. They didn't get to where they are by avoiding struggle. They didn't bypass the tough times or take shortcuts. Instead, they embraced the struggle. They leaned into the discomfort and used it as fuel to propel them forward. They didn't let the fear of failure or the difficulty of the journey stop them. They used the pain as motivation to push harder and to prove to themselves that they could succeed despite the odds. But here's the key. Embracing the struggle isn't about seeking pain for the sake of it. It's about recognizing that challenges are an inevitable part of life, and that they are not to be feared. Rather, they are to be faced head-on, with courage and determination. When you face a challenge, instead of shying away, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? In this way, you transform struggle from something to be avoided into something to be embraced as part of your journey. Think of a time in your own life when you faced something difficult. Maybe it was a job you didn't feel prepared for, or a personal crisis that you never expected. In that moment, it might have felt like the world was against you. It might have felt like you were drowning in the weight of the challenge. But now, looking back, you can probably see how that challenge helped shape you. It might have taught you resilience, patience, or the ability to handle adversity. It may have led you to make choices that ultimately improved your life. The struggle made you stronger. And here's the most important part. Each struggle you face adds to your emotional and mental toolkit. It equips you with the experience to handle even bigger challenges in the future. It's like building muscles in the gym. The more weight you lift, the stronger you become. Similarly, the more challenges you overcome, the stronger your resilience, mindset, and ability to deal with future struggles become. But this mindset requires patience. Patience with yourself, patience with the process, and patience with the time it takes to grow. It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't happening as quickly as we'd like. It's easy to wish that the struggles would stop or that we could reach the end result right now. But true growth doesn't work that way. The path to mastery, whether in your personal life or in your career, is built through the accumulation of small, difficult steps. And those steps, when embraced, become the foundation of a life filled with strength, wisdom, and accomplishment. In a world where we are conditioned to seek ease, to avoid discomfort, and to look for shortcuts, the idea of willingly walking into struggle seems counterintuitive. But what if I told you that the key to lasting success, personal growth, and resilience lies not in avoiding challenges, but in seeking them out? Let's begin by understanding how adversity works. Adversity doesn't discriminate. It will come for you whether you're prepared or not. It could be a difficult situation at work, a personal crisis, a health challenge, or a setback in your financial journey. And while it's natural to want to run from hardship, true strength comes from facing these moments with courage. Adversity has a unique ability to reveal who you really are. When everything is going smoothly, it's easy to feel like you have control over your life. But when the storm hits, that's when your true character is revealed. Do you crumble? Do you give up? Or do you dig deep, find your inner strength, and rise to the occasion? It's in the most difficult moments that you discover the depth of your resilience, the power of your will, and the unwavering determination you possess. Take, for example, the story of someone going through a tough personal loss. At first, they might feel overwhelmed by grief. The pain might seem unbearable, but over time, they learn to adjust, to find strength in their vulnerability, and to rebuild their life. In this process, they not only heal, but they come out the other side more compassionate, more empathetic, and with a renewed sense of appreciation for the fragility and beauty of life. That person doesn't just survive adversity, they transform because of it. In the same way, every challenge you face is an opportunity to transform. The difficulties you encounter are not there to punish you. They are there to shape you, to push you beyond your current limits, and to bring out the strength you didn't know you had. Think about the most difficult challenge you've faced in your life so far. Perhaps it was the loss of a job, a broken relationship, or a health scare. In the moment, it probably felt like the end of the world. It may have been overwhelming, and it may have caused you to question your ability to continue. But now, with some distance, can you see how that challenge helped you grow? Can you see the lessons it taught you, the resilience it helped you develop, and the inner strength it allowed you to discover? This is the power of adversity. It forces you to look inward, to confront your fears, your weaknesses, and your insecurities. It asks you to step up, to make decisions, and to take action in ways you never thought possible. And in doing so, it reveals the depth of your potential. You are capable of far more than you think. But here's the key. This process of transformation only happens if you allow yourself to fully experience the struggle. Too often, we try to avoid the discomfort, to numb ourselves with distractions or temporary solutions. But numbing the pain doesn't allow for growth. It only delays the inevitable. The struggle is part of the process. You can't rush it. You can't avoid it. But you can choose how you approach it. When you embrace the struggle, you change your perspective. Instead of seeing it as something to overcome, you begin to see it as something to learn from. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity. Sam, you begin to see setbacks as stepping stones, not roadblocks. And with each lesson you learn, you become stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling whatever comes next. This mindset shift doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't mean that the struggle won't still be difficult. But when you choose to embrace it rather than fight against it, the struggle becomes a tool for your growth. You stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances, and instead, you begin to feel empowered by your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Remember, the strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire. The more you lean into the discomfort, the more you'll develop the emotional and mental resilience to thrive in any situation. The struggle will always be there, but now, instead of fearing it, you'll face it with confidence and grace. As you continue on your journey, I encourage you to reflect on the times you've faced challenges in your life. Don't just look at them as obstacles. Look at them as opportunities to evolve. Look at them as moments where you had the chance to become more than you were before. And most importantly, remember that the next time adversity knocks on your door, it's not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you are ready for the next level of growth. So, let go of the fear, embrace the discomfort, and step into the struggle knowing that it is the very thing that will elevate you to the next stage of your journey. Chapter 5: Mastering Self-Control. Self-control is often seen as a trait possessed only by those who seem to have everything figured out. The disciplined ones who wake up at 5 a.m. for a run, stick to their meal plans, and never give in to temptation. But self-control is not an inherent quality that only some people possess. It's a skill that anyone can develop. And in fact, it's one of the most powerful tools you can have in your life. The challenge, however, is that we live in a world that is constantly tempting us to act in the moment. Immediate gratification is everywhere. You don't have to wait for anything. With the swipe of a finger, you can have food delivered, a new outfit, or access to any piece of entertainment you desire. This convenience and speed make it easy to lose sight of the bigger picture, of long-term fulfillment. Why wait when you can have what you want now? But this mindset of instant gratification can be a double-edged sword. In the short term, it feels good. It gives us pleasure, comfort, or relief. But the more we indulge in it, the more we weaken our ability to delay gratification, and this is where the problem lies. By constantly giving in to our immediate desires, we begin to lose touch with the deeper, more lasting satisfaction that comes from working towards something greater. Think about the last time you gave in to an urge, whether it was eating that extra slice of cake, binge watching an entire season of a show, or making an impulse purchase. In the moment, it felt good, right? But then what happened afterward? Did you feel fulfilled? Or did you feel a sense of regret, guilt, or emptiness? The satisfaction you felt was fleeting. It didn't last, and it left you craving more. This is the trap of immediate gratification. It's a cycle that leaves you constantly seeking the next moment of pleasure, but never feeling truly satisfied. Now contrast that with the satisfaction of achieving a long-term goal. Think about the last time you worked towards something for an extended period of time. Perhaps it was a project at work, a fitness goal, or even learning a new skill. You had to put in consistent effort. There were days when you didn't feel like working, days when you wanted to quit, but you stuck with it. And when you finally achieved that goal, how did it feel? The sense of accomplishment, the pride, the fulfillment. It was deeper, more lasting, and much more rewarding than any moment of instant gratification. This is the power of self-control. It's the ability to resist the pull of immediate pleasure in order to build something of lasting value. It's about making choices that align with your long-term vision, even when the easier choice is right in front of you. And here's the thing. Self-control isn't just about saying no to the things that feel good now. It's about saying yes to something better in the future. The good news is that self-control is a muscle, just like any other. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. It starts with small decisions. It starts with saying no to the cookie or resisting the urge to check your phone when you're supposed to be working. These small moments add up, and the more you practice exercising your self-control in these small moments, the easier it becomes to apply it to bigger challenges. But there's something else at play here. The deeper you connect with your long-term vision, the easier it becomes to resist short-term temptation. When you have a clear sense of purpose and direction, it becomes much easier to say no to things that derail your progress. Imagine for a moment that you are working toward a big goal, a dream that excites you, one that you know will bring fulfillment and growth. Every time you are faced with the temptation of instant gratification, ask yourself this: does this choice move me closer to my goal or further away from it? By aligning your choices with your long-term vision, you create a sense of purpose that makes it easier to stay on track. Self-control in this sense is not just about discipline, it's about alignment. It's about making decisions that are in harmony with the person you want to become and the life you want to create. Self-control isn't a punishment, it's a gift. It's the ability to shape your future by making decisions today that move you closer to your ultimate goals. It's the ability to say no to what is easy and yes to what is truly fulfilling. And as you build this muscle, you begin to feel more in control of your life, more empowered, and more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Self-control is deeply connected to emotional resilience. It's one thing to resist temptation or make disciplined decisions, but it's another to do so in the face of emotional turbulence. Life doesn't unfold in a neat, predictable way. You will face setbacks, frustrations, stress, and moments of overwhelming emotion. The real test of self-control comes not when things are calm, but when you're thrown into the storm. This is where emotional resilience becomes your greatest ally. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to remain steady in the face of challenge, and to maintain your focus and direction despite emotional upheaval. It's the quality that allows people to persevere, even when life doesn't go according to plan. And let me tell you, building emotional resilience is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. In life, emotional highs and lows are inevitable. You'll encounter moments that bring joy and excitement, but you'll also face times that challenge your patience, your discipline, and your ability to stay focused. Think about the last time you faced an emotional challenge. Maybe it was an argument with a loved one, a disappointing situation at work, or the frustration of not seeing the results you hoped for. In that moment, your emotions took over, didn't they? The frustration, the anger, or the sadness probably made it hard to think clearly or act rationally. It's in those moments that self-control is truly tested. Here's where emotional resilience comes into play. It's not about suppressing or ignoring your emotions. It's about acknowledging them and choosing how you respond. You might feel angry, upset, or anxious, but your ability to pause, reflect, and then act in alignment with your goals is what determines your level of emotional resilience. Emotional resilience allows you to step back from the intensity of the moment and choose a response that serves your higher purpose. Let's look at an example. Imagine you're working hard to achieve a goal. Maybe it's a fitness goal or a career milestone. You've been putting in the work, staying disciplined, but then you hit a setback. Maybe you experience an injury or a project you've been working on falls apart. In that moment, it would be easy to give in to frustration, to throw in the towel and give up. But emotional resilience allows you to manage those emotions and stay focused on the long-term goal. Instead of letting the setback derail you, you see it as part of the process. You acknowledge the frustration, but you don't let it control your actions. You take a step back, reassess, and keep moving forward. This is emotional resilience at its core, the ability to experience strong emotions without letting them dictate your behavior. It's the ability to sit with discomfort, to feel the sting of disappointment or frustration, and still move forward in the direction of your dreams. It's understanding that emotions are temporary, they come and go, but your ability to act in accordance with your values and long-term vision is what defines your success. The interesting thing about emotional resilience is that it doesn't just help you handle the tough moments, it also helps you make better decisions when things are going well. When you're emotionally resilient, you become less reactive. You stop making decisions based on how you feel in the moment. Instead, you make decisions that are aligned with your goals, your values, and your future. You don't let emotions cloud your judgment, and you don't fall into the trap of acting on impulse or seeking immediate gratification. Building emotional resilience takes time, just like building physical strength. You don't wake up one day with perfect emotional control. It's developed through consistent practice. But here's the good news. You can start practicing emotional resilience today in small ways. The next time you feel frustration, sadness, or anxiety, take a moment to pause. Instead of reacting immediately, breathe deeply and ask yourself, how do I want to respond to this situation? What's the best course of action? This simple practice can begin to transform how you deal with challenging emotions, helping you develop a calm, focused, and resilient mindset. Another key aspect of emotional resilience is learning to embrace discomfort. Too often, we seek to avoid pain, emotional or physical, at all costs. But here's the truth. Discomfort is where growth happens. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you face a little bit of discomfort. Whether it's doing something difficult, taking on a new challenge, or confronting your fears, emotional resilience allows you to handle that discomfort with grace. You no longer see discomfort as a signal to stop. Instead, you see it as an opportunity to expand, to learn, and to evolve. One of the most powerful practices you can adopt is reframing your mindset around challenges. Instead of seeing difficult moments as setbacks or signs of failure, see them as stepping stones. Every time you face adversity and choose to respond with resilience, you're building mental and emotional strength. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of navigating life's difficulties and coming out stronger on the other side. Think about someone who you consider emotionally strong, someone who seems unshaken by life's challenges. They likely have a deep sense of self-control and emotional resilience. They don't let their emotions run the show. Instead, they stay grounded, focused, and centered, no matter what comes their way. And the reason they can do this is that they have practiced these skills over time. They've learned that their emotions are not their enemy, but something to be understood and managed. Building emotional resilience is like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger you become. And the stronger you become, the easier it is to stay disciplined, to make good decisions, and to stay focused on your goals, no matter what emotions arise. Chapter 6. Overcoming Fear and Doubt. Fear. It's a feeling we've all encountered. At some point, we've all felt the grip of fear, whether it's fear of failure, fear of the unknown, or fear of not being good enough. It's a universal experience, yet it can hold us back in ways we don't always realize. Fear can paralyze us, keep us stuck in the same place, and prevent us from pursuing our goals or stepping into the life we truly want. But here's the truth. Fear isn't the enemy. In fact, it's a natural part of growth. It's the resistance you feel when you're on the verge of something big, something transformative. Fear only arises when we are about to step into new territory, when we're about to challenge ourselves in a way that will force us to grow. The problem with fear isn't that it exists, it's that we often let it control us. We allow it to dictate our actions, and in doing so, we make fear our master. We avoid risks, we shy away from challenges, and we stay in our comfort zones, all because fear tells us that we're not ready, that we might fail, that we might get hurt. But what if we stopped listening to fear as a voice of authority? What if we saw fear as a signal, a sign that we're on the brink of growth? Because that's exactly what it is. Fear is simply a marker that you're doing something important. Think back to a time when you were afraid to do something, but you did it anyway. Maybe it was a presentation, an important conversation, or even something like learning to drive. The fear was there and it felt real. But when you took action despite it, you found that the fear didn't have nearly as much power as you thought. In fact, after you got through it, you probably realized that the fear was more of a mental block than an actual danger. This is where the key to overcoming fear lies, in taking action despite it. When we face fear, our instinct is often to retreat. We think, this is too much. I can't handle it. It's safer if I stay where I am. But this is the cycle that holds us back. The more we avoid fear, the more it controls us. The more we run from discomfort, the stronger our fears grow. But the moment you choose to move forward, despite the fear, you break that cycle. The key to overcoming fear is not to eliminate it, it's to act in spite of it. Fear thrives in the unknown. When we face something unfamiliar or uncertain, our brains go into overdrive, preparing us for the worst-case scenario. We imagine failure, rejection, or embarrassment. We see all the ways it could go wrong, and we talk ourselves out of trying. But the truth is, we can never predict the outcome with certainty. The only thing we can control is how we respond. And the best response is to take action. The more we act, the more we build confidence in ourselves. With each step forward, we quiet the voice of fear, and we strengthen our ability to take risks and embrace uncertainty. Think about how you felt the first time you tried something new. Maybe it was starting a new job, moving to a new place, or learning a new skill. In the beginning, it felt overwhelming, didn't it? You probably had doubts, questions, and fears about whether you were capable. But over time, as you kept going, those fears lessened. You adapted, you learned, and you became more confident. This process is natural, and it's the same with any new challenge. Fear is a part of growth, but just as with any skill, the more you face your fears, the better you get at managing them. The more you choose to step into the discomfort, the more you develop the courage to face even bigger challenges. And this is the real power of overcoming fear. You don't just conquer the specific fear in front of you, you build resilience for the future. You prove to yourself that you are capable of handling anything that comes your way. But here's the trick. Fear isn't going away. It's not something you can eliminate from your life entirely. It will always be there when you're about to step outside your comfort zone. The question is, will you let it control you, or will you choose to take action anyway? Overcoming fear isn't about waiting for it to go away. It's about acting in spite of it. It's about choosing growth, choosing progress, and choosing the future you want. Even when fear is sitting in the passenger seat, whispering in your ear, you are stronger than your fear. Every time you face it, every time you act in the face of it, you take away its power. You show yourself that you are in control. And with each decision to act, you build a habit of courage. Over time, this habit will become second nature. The things that once seemed terrifying will no longer feel like obstacles. Instead, they will be opportunities for growth, opportunities to continue proving to yourself that you can handle anything that comes your way. Chapter 6. Overcoming Fear and Doubt. As we've explored, fear is a natural part of life, especially when we step into unfamiliar territory. But what happens after you take that first step in the face of fear? What comes after you make the choice to act, despite the voice of doubt telling you to retreat? The answer's simple: confidence. You see, confidence isn't something you're born with. It's not an innate trait that only certain people possess. Confidence is built, one small action at a time, through consistent effort, and most importantly, through facing fear head on. The more you expose yourself to the things that scare you, the more you develop a deep, unshakable belief in your ability to handle life's challenges. This is the secret to building true, lasting confidence. It's not about waiting for fear to disappear. It's about proving to yourself, time and time again, that you are capable of overcoming it. The beauty of confidence is that it grows with each experience. Each time you choose courage over fear, you gain a little more belief in yourself. Think back to a time when you felt a sense of accomplishment after doing something difficult. Maybe it was presenting in front of a group, having a tough conversation, or starting a new project. Afterward, you probably felt proud of yourself, didn't you? That sense of pride is the seed of confidence. It's the moment when you realize that you can handle what comes your way, even when the journey feels uncertain. Confidence isn't about never feeling fear. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's about pushing through the discomfort, the uncertainty, and the self-doubt, and proving to yourself that you can rise to the occasion. This is where real growth happens, when you realize that you are capable of doing things you once thought were impossible. Each victory, no matter how small, builds your confidence and lays the foundation for future success. But here's the catch. Confidence doesn't just come from the external results, it comes from the internal realization that you are in control of your actions. Confidence is rooted in your ability to manage your thoughts and emotions, to decide how you will respond in any given situation. The more you practice this, the more naturally confidence will flow from you. You begin to realize that your thoughts don't control you. You control them. And in that shift, you realize that you have the power to create the life you want. One of the most powerful aspects of confidence is the shift it creates in your mindset. When you believe in your ability to face challenges, your perspective on life changes. You no longer see obstacles as threats. You see them as opportunities to grow. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What will I learn from this experience?" With this mindset shift, fear no longer has the power to hold you back. Instead of shrinking from challenges, you lean into them, knowing that each experience makes you stronger. And here's the key to all of this. The more you take action despite your fear, the more your brain rewires itself to expect success. You begin to reframe failure, not as something to be feared, but as a stepping stone toward growth. Every time you take a risk, every time you put yourself out there, you are conditioning your mind to expect positive outcomes, even if they don't come right away. This is how confidence is built over time, through consistent, courageous actions that prove to your mind that you are capable, resilient, and unstoppable. Think about someone who radiates confidence, the kind of person who seems to handle anything that comes their way. What sets them apart? It's not that they never feel fear, it's that they don't let fear dictate their actions. No, they are able to maintain a calm, focused mindset even in the most uncertain situations, because they have built a habit of confidence through years of practice. They've proven to themselves time and time again that they can handle whatever challenges arise. But it's not just about tackling external fears. It's also about confronting the internal doubts that can hold you back. Self-doubt is one of the most powerful enemies of confidence. It whispers that you're not good enough, that you'll never succeed, and that you're just not capable of achieving your goals. But self-doubt isn't truth. It's just a feeling, one that can be challenged and overcome. The key is to not listen to it. Instead, remind yourself of your past successes, of the times when you've overcome challenges, and of the growth you've experienced. Each time you do this, you reinforce the truth. You are capable, you are resilient, and you have everything you need to succeed. You've already faced challenges before, and you've made it through. Think about all the times you've overcome difficulty in your life. You've already proven to yourself that you can rise above challenges, and every time you step into that uncertainty, you continue to build the confidence to tackle even bigger challenges in the future. So, the next time fear shows up, and it will, don't shy away from it. Don't run from it. Embrace it. Step into the discomfort, knowing that you have everything you need to face it. The more you do this, the more confident you will become. And eventually, you'll look back and realize that fear no longer holds power over you. You will have learned to take action in the face of it, to rise above it, and to trust in your own ability to overcome anything that comes your way. Chapter 7. The Power of Consistency and Self-Mastery. We've already talked about how discipline and self-control are vital to success. But here's the real question. How do you make these qualities stick? How do you build habits that become so ingrained that they no longer feel like efforts, but rather like natural parts of who you are? The key is consistency. It's easy to get excited about a new goal or a new habit, but it's much harder to stay consistent in the long term. Everyone can be disciplined for a week, a month, or even a few months. But what happens when the excitement fades? What happens when life gets in the way and distractions creep up? The people who succeed in the long run are the ones who keep showing up, even when the initial spark of motivation starts to fade. Building lasting habits doesn't come from trying to force change overnight. It doesn't come from making radical shifts that are unsustainable. It comes from making small, consistent changes that add up over time. The beauty of this process is that it's gradual. There's no sudden pressure to be perfect or to see instant results. Instead, it's about focusing on small wins every day and celebrating those moments of progress. Start by looking at the habits you want to build. Maybe it's exercising every day, reading more, or sticking to a healthier diet. The key to building these habits is to focus on one small action at a time. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in one day. Instead, make it your goal to consistently take the small steps that lead to larger, lasting changes. And let's take exercise, for example. It's easy to tell yourself, I'll go to the gym every day. But when that doesn't happen, it's easy to become discouraged and abandon the goal altogether. But what if you started small? What if your goal was simply to go for a 10-minute walk every day? By making the goal smaller and more achievable, you're setting yourself up for success. The key is not the intensity or the length of the exercise. It's the consistency. Over time, those 10-minute walks will turn into 20-minute walks, then jogs, and eventually regular workouts. The key is to not overwhelm yourself with unrealistic expectations, but to start with small steps and build from there. This idea of starting small is essential to creating habits that stick. It's about finding something you can commit to consistently, no matter how small it seems. When you make something easy and achievable, you're more likely to stick with it. And once you build the habit, it becomes a part of your daily routine. Over time, you'll notice that you don't have to think about it as much. It's just something you do. The other powerful aspect of consistency is tracking your progress. Whether it's through a journal, an app, or simply noting your wins in your mind, tracking progress helps reinforce your commitment. It's easy to forget how far you've come when you're focused on where you still want to go. But by looking back at how much you've accomplished, you'll feel a sense of pride and motivation to keep going. One of the greatest mistakes people make when building habits is that they expect everything to be perfect right away. They expect immediate results, and when those results don't come as quickly as they hope, they give up. But perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. The beauty of consistency is that it doesn't require perfection. It just requires you to keep showing up day after day, even if some days are better than others. When you focus on progress rather than perfection, it's easier to stay motivated and keep going. Think of a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small and it moves slowly. But as it keeps rolling, it picks up more snow and gains momentum. This is what consistency does. Each small action adds to the bigger picture. Over time, you'll find that your habits have built the momentum necessary for larger, more significant changes in your life. The more you stick with something, the easier it becomes, and eventually, it becomes a part of who you are. So, how do you make these habits stick? Start small, be consistent, track your progress, and focus on the process, not the outcome. The results will come, but more importantly, the person you become in the process is what will truly change your life. You won't just build habits, you'll build the character, mindset, and resilience necessary for long-term success. Building habits that stick is one thing, but what really holds those habits in place is the inner strength to continue, even when the road gets tough. It's easy to start with enthusiasm, but the real challenge lies in maintaining that momentum over the long haul. What keeps you going when your initial excitement fades and the grind becomes routine? What keeps you on track when life throws challenges in your way or when you face the temptation to give up? The answer is inner strength. Inner strength is the emotional and mental fortitude to stay focused on your goals, even when everything around you seems to be pushing you in the opposite direction. It's the ability to stay disciplined, to continue showing up, and to keep working toward your vision, no matter how long it takes or how hard it gets. Inner strength is what keeps you going when you feel like quitting, and it's what helps you maintain your sense of purpose and direction in the face of adversity. Building inner strength, like building habits, doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, and it's deeply connected to how well you manage your thoughts, emotions, and actions. It requires you to confront your doubts and fears and to keep moving forward, despite the mental roadblocks you may encounter. But as with consistency, now inner strength is built one small action at a time. One of the keys to building inner strength is developing mental resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to recover quickly from disappointment, and to keep moving forward after facing failure. Life will undoubtedly present you with challenges, and failure is a part of the journey. But it's how you respond to these setbacks that will determine your long-term success. If you let failure stop you, you'll never move forward. But if you view failure as a stepping stone, as a lesson in disguise, you'll find that each setback is an opportunity to grow stronger. When you face a setback, it's normal to feel discouraged, frustrated, or defeated. But it's in those moments that you must dig deeper, instead of allowing negative thoughts to take over. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this setback to improve and keep moving forward? By shifting your mindset, you turn failure into a tool for growth. And in doing so, you build your inner strength. Another powerful tool for developing inner strength is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment. When you are mindful, you can observe your thoughts and emotions without allowing them to control you. You can recognize when doubt, fear, or frustration arises and choose not to let it dictate your actions. This kind of awareness allows you to stay calm under pressure, to focus on the task at hand, and to continue moving toward your goals, no matter what distractions or obstacles may appear. One of the greatest benefits of mindfulness is that it helps you develop emotional regulation. Instead of letting your emotions dictate your actions, whether that's reacting out of anger, frustration, or fear, you can choose to respond with intention. You can acknowledge the emotion, accept it, and then decide the best course of action. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means learning how to control your reactions, to stay composed, and to keep moving forward, no matter what challenges arise. Building inner strength also requires self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself when you fall short or when you make a mistake. But self-compassion is the ability to treat yourself with kindness and understanding rather than judgment. When you're compassionate with yourself, and you acknowledge that mistakes are a natural part of the process, and you don't allow them to derail your progress, you simply get back on track and continue moving forward. Think about a time when you were really hard on yourself. Maybe when you didn't meet a goal or when you fell short of your expectations. How did that impact your motivation? Chances are, the more critical you were of yourself, the harder it became to get back on track. But if, instead of criticizing yourself, you had been kind and understanding, you might have found it easier to move forward. Self-compassion allows you to bounce back more quickly and continue your journey with renewed determination. Inner strength also comes from having a clear sense of purpose. When you know why you're doing something, when you have a deep, meaningful reason for your actions, and it becomes much easier to stay committed. Purpose acts as a compass, guiding you through the challenges, keeping you focused on what truly matters. It's what helps you keep going when the work gets tough or when you feel like giving up. Ask yourself, why do you want to achieve your goals? What is the deeper reason behind your actions? When you can connect your goals to a bigger purpose, whether that's personal growth, helping others, or building something meaningfully, your sense of purpose will fuel your persistence. It will give you the strength to keep going, even when the road gets difficult. The key to building lasting inner strength is to keep working at it, even when it feels hard. Every time you face a challenge and choose to rise above it, you add another layer to your inner strength. Every time you push through fear, doubt, or discomfort, you build resilience. And over time, this consistency will lead to a deep sense of confidence and self-assurance. You'll no longer be at the mercy of your doubts or fears. Instead, you'll trust in your ability to face whatever comes your way with calm, focus, and determination. Building inner strength is the foundation upon which all of your other efforts rest. Without it, it's easy to get discouraged or give up when things get tough. But with inner strength, you can handle anything that life throws at you. And the best part? Inner strength doesn't just help you with the challenges you're facing now. It prepares you for whatever lies ahead. Chapter 8. The Importance of Vision. It's one of the most powerful tools you can have in your personal growth journey, but it's often misunderstood. People talk about having a vision for their life, yet so few actually take the time to truly cultivate it. A vision is not just a vague idea of what you want. It's a clear, compelling picture of where you want to go. It's the roadmap that guides every decision, every action, and every step along the way. Without vision, you're like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly, carried by the tides of circumstance. But with vision, you have direction, you have purpose, and you have the clarity to make decisions that align with the life you want to create. But here's the problem. Vision isn't something you can achieve by simply thinking about it. It's not enough to just daydream or wish for something better. Vision requires intention. It requires a deep understanding of who you are, what you value, and what you want your life to stand for. It requires action, persistence, and the ability to keep your eyes focused on the bigger picture, even when the path is unclear or the obstacles feel overwhelming. The first step in developing a powerful vision is to get clear on what matters most to you. What is the life you truly want? What are the things you want to experience, create, and contribute to this world? It's easy to get caught up in what other people want or what society tells you should matter. But the real question is, what do you want? What is your purpose? Take a moment and reflect on this. Think about the aspects of your life that you feel most passionate about. Is it your career, your relationships, your personal development, your health, your impact on others? When you can clearly identify what truly matters to you, you can begin to build a vision that is deeply aligned with your values. This vision becomes your guidepost, your compass, and your motivation. Vision isn't just about setting a goal or aiming for something tangible. It's about creating a mindset, a way of thinking about your future that fuels everything you do. It's about seeing the bigger picture and connecting each of your actions, no matter how small, to a greater purpose. Here's where most people get stuck. They think of vision as something grand, something unattainable. They think of it as a far-off dream, something they'll achieve someday if everything lines up. But vision doesn't work that way. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment to act. It's about seeing the future you want, then starting to build it, piece by piece, starting today. Vision creates momentum. It shifts your mindset from short-term thinking to long-term growth. It helps you make decisions that are in alignment with the life you're working to create, not just with the immediate desires or distractions that pop up. A powerful vision empowers you to see beyond the present moment and beyond the temporary discomforts of life. It gives you the strength to keep moving forward, even when progress feels slow or when you encounter setbacks. This is why vision is so important for self-discipline. Without vision, it's easy to get sidetracked by immediate temptations, by the pull of comfort or the desire for instant gratification. But with a clear vision, you can evaluate every choice based on how it aligns with your long-term goals. Every small decision becomes an opportunity to move closer to the life you want. Every sacrifice, every bit of effort, and every ounce of focus is worth it when you can see the bigger picture. Imagine you're working on a big project, one that requires sustained effort and patience. In the beginning, everything feels exciting and fresh. But after a few weeks, the novelty wears off. The grind starts to set in, and you're faced with the temptation to quit or take shortcuts. Without a vision, it's easy to let those temptations win. But with a vision, you have something to hold on to. You have a reminder of why you're doing the work, why the effort matters, and why it's all worth it in the end. Your vision becomes the fuel that keeps you going. When the going gets tough, your vision will remind you that the struggle is temporary and that the rewards are waiting for you on the other side. It's what will give you the strength to keep going even when the road gets rocky. So ask yourself, what is the vision you have for your life? What do you want to create? What do you want to experience? And how can you start building that vision today with every choice you make? The answers to these questions are the foundation of your journey. They are the roadmap that will guide you, the fuel that will keep you going, and the purpose that will give your life direction. Without vision, you are adrift. But with vision, you are empowered to shape your destiny. Having a vision is one thing. Turning that vision into reality is another. It's easy to dream, to create a mental image of the life you want, but without action, vision remains just a dream. The true power of vision lies in the steps you take to make it real. This is where many people falter. They have the vision, the desire, and the dreams, but they fail to break them down into actionable steps. A vision without action is like a car without an engine. It's not going anywhere. Turning your vision into reality starts with clarity. You need to clearly define what success looks like for you. The more specific you can get about your vision, the easier it will be to create a roadmap for achieving it. Vague dreams like, I want to be successful or I want to be happy are too broad to guide you. Success means something different to everyone. So, take the time to define what success looks like for you in concrete terms. What does your ideal life look like? What are the specific milestones along the way? Break your vision down into smaller, tangible goals. Now, once you've defined your vision and broken it down into goals, the next step is to commit to the work. This is where discipline and consistency come into play. It's easy to get excited at the start of something new, but maintaining that excitement over time requires real effort. The key to turning your vision into reality is consistent action. You have to show up every day, even on the days when you don't feel like it, even when the road gets tough or the results don't come immediately. Consistency is what turns your vision from a distant dream into a present reality. But here's the thing, you don't need to have it all figured out right away. In fact, trying to figure out every step of the process from the beginning can overwhelm you and prevent you from starting at all. Instead, take it one step at a time. Or break your goals down into manageable chunks and focus on the next step in front of you. By focusing on small, achievable actions, you prevent yourself from getting bogged down by the bigger picture and allow yourself to build momentum. As you take action, it's also important to stay flexible. The path to achieving your vision will not be a straight line. There will be setbacks, detours, and unexpected obstacles along the way. This is where patience and emotional resilience come in. There will be days when things don't go as planned, when you face challenges that seem insurmountable. But these are the moments that will shape you. These moments are where you build resilience and the mental fortitude to keep going. When things go wrong and they inevitably will, don't give up. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this setback? Every failure or obstacle is an opportunity to refine your approach, to reassess your strategy, and to make adjustments. Your vision will evolve as you grow. And the more you learn from your experiences, the more confident you'll become in your ability to bring your vision to life. It's also important to surround yourself with people who support your vision, whether it's a mentor, a group of friends, or colleagues who believe in what you're doing. Having a support system can make a world of difference. These people will lift you up when you feel discouraged, hold you accountable when you slack off, and remind you of your why when you're tempted to quit. Build a network of people who encourage you, challenge you, and help you grow. No one achieves great things alone. Yeah, but even with all the support in the world, you are the one who has to do the work. You are the one who has to commit to your vision, day after day, and make the tough decisions that will move you forward. Action is what turns vision into reality. It's the driving force that propels you toward your goals. Without action, vision is just a fantasy. With action, your vision becomes your future. One powerful tool to help turn your vision into action is visualization. Visualization is the practice of imagining your future self, seeing yourself as the person you want to become, living the life you want to live. When you visualize your success, you strengthen your belief that it's possible. You train your mind to focus on your desired outcome, which in turn helps you take the necessary steps to make it happen. But visualization isn't enough on its own. You can visualize success all day, but it's your actions that will bring that vision to life. The more you connect your actions with your vision, the more aligned your efforts will become with your desired outcome. At the end of the day, turning your vision into reality is about belief. It's about believing in yourself and your ability to create the life you want. It's about believing that your vision is possible, even when it feels distant or out of reach. And it's about the relentless pursuit of that belief through consistent, purposeful action. So, as you move forward on your journey, keep your vision in mind. Let it guide you when things get tough. Let it be the fuel that keeps you going, even when the results are slow to show up. Break your vision down into actionable steps. Stay disciplined and be patient with the process. Understand that the journey may not be easy, but it will be worth it. Because when you turn your vision into action, you're not just creating the life you want, you're becoming the person you've always known you could be. Chapter 9. The Impact of Daily Decisions. Every single day you make hundreds, if not thousands, of decisions. Some are large and life-changing: what career to pursue, where to live, who to marry. But the majority of the decisions you make are small, seemingly insignificant choices. What to eat for breakfast, whether to go to the gym, or if you'll answer that email today. It's easy to overlook these small decisions, assuming they don't have much of an impact. But here's the truth. Your daily decisions shape your future far more than you may realize. You see, life is the culmination of the decisions we make, both big and small. When you look back at the course of your life, you'll notice that many of the defining moments were the result of seemingly trivial choices. You didn't set out to radically change your life in one fell swoop, but by choosing day in and day out to make decisions that align with your long-term goals, you gradually moved closer to the life you want. And this is the beauty of daily decisions. They have a cumulative effect, shaping who you become over time. Take, for example, your health. When you decide to eat that unhealthy snack today, it may seem like a small decision. It's just one cookie, you might think. But over time, these small decisions begin to add up. One cookie turns into two, then a whole bag of chips, and before you know it, your habits have changed. The small decisions you make each day can either move you toward your goals or pull you away from them. The good news is that you have the power to change the course of your life, one decision at a time. Now, this isn't to say that every decision is going to be perfect. You will make mistakes. You will make decisions you regret. That's part of being human. The key, though, is that you have the ability to learn from those decisions and make a better choice the next time. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency and the awareness that each choice contributes to the bigger picture. Let's take a deeper look at how small decisions build up over time. Imagine you're working on a fitness goal. At first, it's easy to make the decision to go to the gym, to eat healthier, and to stay active. You're motivated and the results come quickly. But as time goes on, the excitement fades and you're faced with a choice. Do you keep going, even when you don't feel like it? Do you make the small choice to go to the gym, even when you're tired? Do you choose the healthy meal, even when a burger seems more appealing? These small decisions are the ones that shape your results. The more you make the choice to stay consistent, even when it's hard, the more likely you are to achieve your goals. The beauty of consistency is that it compounds. Each small action you take builds on the one before it. Over time, those small decisions add up to something big. You look back and realize that the life you're living today is the result of the choices you made yesterday and the day before and the day before that. But it's not just about results, it's also about the kind of person you become in the process. When you make decisions that align with your vision and your values, you develop the character, discipline, and resilience needed to achieve even greater things. These small, daily decisions are what build the foundation of self-mastery. They shape your habits, your mindset, and your ability to stay on track, no matter the challenges you face. Think about a time when you felt proud of yourself for sticking with something, even when it was tough. Maybe you completed a project, ran a marathon, or simply stayed committed to a goal for a long period of time. The satisfaction you felt didn't come from one big, dramatic event. It came from the accumulation of small, consistent decisions you made along the way. The daily choices to stay focused, none to keep going, to put in the effort, those were the moments that built your success. This is the true power of small decisions. They may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they become the building blocks of your future. Every time you make a choice that aligns with your goals, you are moving closer to the life you want. And when you make choices that pull you away from your goals, you can course correct and get back on track, knowing that every new decision is an opportunity to steer your life in the right direction. Ultimately, the life you create is a reflection of the decisions you make every single day. If you want to change your life, you don't need to make drastic changes overnight. You need to start with the small decisions. Choose to make the right choice today. Choose to take action even when you don't feel like it. Choose consistency, and over time, you'll see the transformation. As you reflect on the small decisions that shape your life, it's important to understand one key thing. Lasting change comes not from big, dramatic actions, but from consistent, everyday choices. The changes that lead to a transformed life aren't made in a single moment. They're built over time, through the constant practice of making decisions that move you toward your goals, one step at a time. But let's pause for a moment and acknowledge something important. It's easy to underestimate the power of consistency. When we think about transformation, we often envision grand moments, achieving the big promotion, losing a significant amount of weight, or achieving a lifelong dream. These big moments are exciting, but they don't happen without the consistent actions that lead up to them. Every grand achievement is preceded by thousands of small, everyday decisions. Imagine for a moment that you're building a house. The foundation is poured, but without consistent work each day, adding bricks, applying mortar, and making steady progress, the house will never take shape. You can't rush the building process. Every decision you make, from the tools you use to the materials you choose, adds to the structure. The house is built over time, step by step, brick by brick. The same applies to your life. You're building the life you want one decision at a time. The reason consistency is so powerful is that it creates momentum. When you make decisions that align with your values, your goals, and your vision, you start to build a rhythm. This rhythm makes the process easier, and the more you practice consistency, the less effort it takes. Just like the house that slowly takes shape, your life begins to reflect the daily choices you've made. But consistency isn't always glamorous. In fact, it can feel downright tedious at times. There will be days when you don't feel like making the right decision. There will be moments when the comfort of the status quo feels much easier than pushing forward. But it's precisely in those moments that consistency matters most. When you push through the temptation to quit, when you choose to take one more step, you're building something far greater than you realize. And each small act of consistency adds to the momentum that will carry you forward. Here's the catch. Building lasting change doesn't always feel like a huge leap forward. It's not always about instant rewards or big wins. It's about the process, the steady, unwavering commitment to showing up each day, even when the results aren't immediate. But that's where the magic happens. Change is often subtle at first. The results may not be visible right away, but trust that they are coming. Every day you make a decision to stay on course, to stick to your plan, you're laying the groundwork for the future you desire. Consistency also creates accountability. When you show up every day, even in the smallest ways, you develop a sense of responsibility to yourself. You start to trust that you will follow through on what you set out to do. This builds confidence in yourself and your ability to create lasting change. Over time, this accountability becomes a positive feedback loop. Each successful day reinforces your belief that you are capable, and that belief makes it easier to stay consistent the next day. Another powerful aspect of consistency is the mental and emotional resilience it builds. When you consistently choose to act in alignment with your goals, you start to strengthen your mindset. You develop the ability to persevere, to handle setbacks, and to stay focused on your long-term vision, no matter how many distractions or challenges arise. Every time you overcome a challenge or persist through difficulty, you grow stronger emotionally and mentally. You learn that obstacles are simply part of the process, not barriers to your success. This resilience is what allows you to keep going, even when the road gets tough. The most successful people in any field, whether it's business, fitness, personal development, or relationships, are not the ones who take shortcuts or achieve instant success. They are the ones who commit to consistency, who show up day in and day out, even when it's difficult. They understand that lasting change takes time, but they trust the process. They know that each small decision, each moment of discipline, adds up to something far greater than they could ever accomplish in a single burst of effort. In many ways, consistency is the ultimate test of character. It's easy to be excited and motivated when things are new. But when the novelty wears off and the routine sets in, that's when true character is revealed. Do you have the perseverance to keep going? Do you have the strength to stay disciplined, even when the results don't come as quickly as you hoped? These are the moments that define you. These are the moments that shape your future. If you want lasting change, it's time to embrace the power of consistency. It's time to stop looking for shortcuts and instead commit to the small, everyday decisions that will shape your future. It's time to build a life that reflects the values you hold most dear. one decision at a time. Chapter 10: The Legacy of Discipline and Consistency. We've spent a great deal of time exploring the power of discipline, consistency, patience, and self-control. Now it's time to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the legacy you are building. Every decision you make, every step you take, is laying the foundation for the life you'll one day look back on. Whether you realize it or not, your actions today are creating the life you will leave behind. What will your legacy be? Will you be remembered as someone who consistently showed up for what mattered? Will people look back and say that you were someone who made an impact, not just through grand gestures, but through the small, everyday actions that shaped your world? Or will you be remembered for the things you didn't do, the opportunities you let slip by, and the potential you never realized? A legacy is not built in a day. It's not about one moment of brilliance, one act of courage, or one extraordinary accomplishment. A legacy is built through consistent, everyday choices, the decisions you make when no one is watching. It's in how you treat others, how you show up for yourself, and how you align your actions with your values. The beauty of consistency and discipline is that, over time, they compound into something far greater than any single effort. Think about it. The most respected people in history, those whose names we remember long after they're gone, didn't achieve their greatness overnight. They didn't wake up one day and instantly become successful or influential. They built their legacies over years, through a relentless commitment to their goals, to their vision, and to their values. They understood that small, consistent actions over time would eventually lead to something significant. And now, decades or even centuries later, their actions continue to echo through the world. But you don't have to be a historical figure to create a legacy. Your legacy is built in the here and now. It's in the way you show up every day, in the way you live your life. Mai, are you the person who commits to their goals, no matter how difficult the journey? Are you the person who prioritizes growth and progress, even when it's uncomfortable? Are you the person who chooses to embrace challenges, knowing that they are the stepping stones to greater things? The choices you make today determine the legacy you'll leave behind. If you choose consistency over complacency, discipline over procrastination, and resilience over giving up, you'll create a life that is both meaningful and impactful. You'll look back on your journey with pride, knowing that you gave your best effort at every turn, that you stayed true to your vision, and that you didn't give in to the distractions or doubts that tried to pull you off course. But it's not just about personal success. Your legacy extends to the people around you. When you live a life of discipline and consistency, you become a model for others. Your actions inspire those who see you persist, and your example shows others that it's possible to create a life of purpose, success, and fulfillment. Your legacy can inspire future generations to carry the torch and keep building on what you started. It's the ripple effect, the way your choices influence and empower others to take action in their own lives. Take a moment to think about the people who have inspired you. These could be figures from history, mentors in your life, or even family members or friends. What was it about them that left a lasting impact on you? More often than not, it's not their achievements alone that inspired you. It's their consistency, their ability to stay true to their values, and their commitment to doing the work, us even when it wasn't easy. Their legacy lives on not just in the things they did, but in the way they made others feel, in the example they set. Now think about the legacy you want to leave. What kind of impact do you want to make on the world? It doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It could simply be the way you uplift those around you, or the way you help others realize their own potential. What matters is that your actions today align with the vision you have for your future. Your legacy is the sum of the choices you make, both big and small, every single day. And as you continue to commit to your growth, you'll find that the legacy you create will be something you can be truly proud of. The beauty of discipline and consistency is that they don't just change your life. They change the lives of those around you. No, they create a ripple effect, a chain reaction that extends beyond your own experience and reaches into the lives of others. Your commitment to showing up, to staying disciplined, to being consistent, will inspire others to do the same. And together, we create a community of people who are not afraid to embrace challenges, not afraid to grow, and not afraid to leave a lasting impact. So, what legacy do you want to leave behind? What kind of person do you want to be remembered as? Start with the small decisions today. Start with the commitment to discipline, to consistency, to taking action even when it's hard. And know that every step you take, no matter how small, is building the life you will look back on with pride. Your legacy is being written right now through every choice, every action, and every moment of discipline. As you continue to think about the kind of legacy you want to leave behind, it's important to consider not just the results of your actions, but the impact of your character. When you live with discipline, consistency, and purpose, you not only change your own life, but you also influence the world around you. The way you approach challenges, the integrity with which you pursue your goals, and the compassion you show to others all leave an indelible mark on those you encounter. A legacy isn't just about the tangible things you leave behind, your wealth, your work, or your accomplishments. While those can certainly play a role, it's the intangible aspects of your life that create a lasting impact. The way you made others feel, the lessons you imparted, and the example you set are what truly shape the legacy you leave. It's how you treated people, how you dealt with adversity, and how you persevered in the face of obstacles. These are the qualities that inspire others to live more intentionally, to pursue their own growth, and to adopt the habits of success that you've demonstrated. In a world where instant gratification and shortcuts often take center stage, the legacy of discipline and consistency stands out. You might not see the immediate rewards of your actions, but trust that those around you are watching and learning. Your commitment to your goals, even when no one else is looking, sends a message that hard work and persistence lead to results. You become a living example of the power of consistency, and that alone can inspire others to take action in their own lives. Think about someone you admire, whether they're a public figure, a mentor, or a close friend. What is it about them that makes them inspiring? More than likely, it's their unwavering commitment to their values, their dedication to their goals, and their ability to remain disciplined despite challenges. They didn't give up when things got tough. They didn't quit when the road was hard. Instead, they kept going. They demonstrated that consistency, even in the face of difficulty, leads to long-term success. This is the kind of legacy you can leave behind, a legacy of resilience, determination, and unwavering focus. Now, consider your own impact. Are you leaving behind a legacy that others can look up to? Are you showing up consistently, even on the days when it's hard? Are you setting an example that others can follow, showing them that it's possible to pursue their dreams with discipline and persistence? The truth is, we often don't realize the impact we have on others, especially in the small, everyday interactions. The way you respond to adversity, the way you treat people, and the way you carry yourself in the face of challenges can inspire those around you in ways you may never fully comprehend. Creating a legacy of impact requires a commitment to personal growth. It requires you to continue working on yourself, developing your character, and aligning your actions with your core values. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Far from it. But it does mean that you consistently strive to be better, to grow, and to lead by example. Every day you show up with discipline. Every day you stay committed to your vision. You are laying the foundation for a life that will leave an impact. As you continue to build your legacy, it's important to remember that consistency doesn't just apply to your goals, it also applies to your relationships. Being consistent in how you treat others and how you show up for the people in your life is one of the most powerful ways to leave a positive impact. When you show up with kindness, respect, and reliability, you build trust and create meaningful connections. These relationships are the true treasures of life, and they are what will matter most when you look back at your legacy. The beauty of leaving a legacy of impact is that it transcends time. It doesn't just live on in your lifetime, It lives on in the lives of those you've touched. It's in the people you've inspired, the lessons you've shared, and the example you've set. A legacy built on discipline, consistency, and integrity creates ripples that extend far beyond your own existence. It influences the lives of others, shaping the world in ways you may never fully see, but can trust will make a difference. So, as you move forward in your journey, ask yourself, what kind of impact do I want to have? What legacy do I want to leave behind? It's not just about what you achieve or what you accumulate, it's about the kind of person you become along the way. It's about the values you live by, the work you put in, and the way you treat others. This is the true measure of your success. And here's the most empowering part. You're already creating your legacy with every choice you make, with every action, with every moment of discipline, with every consistent effort. You're shaping the legacy that will endure long after you're gone. So, make every decision count. Live with purpose, discipline, and consistency, and trust that your legacy will speak for itself.